Hello, this is Chemistry, the Central Science, 11th edition. We're in Chapter 2 on atoms, molecules, and ions. Into the chapter questions. Question number 61. Give a chemical formula for the chlorite ion, chloride ion, chlorate ion, perchlorate ion, hypochlorite ion. Okay, the easy one is a chloride. All right, so B is the chloride. If you just have chlor and IDE, first of all, the IDE ending just means that you've got one element and it's the negative anion. That's what it means. So chlorine turns to chloride. So B, go ahead and do B. B is going to be Cl, and it's just a -1. It's a group 7. So if it steals atoms or steals electrons in order to get a group 8 configuration, it only has 1 to steal, so it steals 1, it would be a -1, and it's chlorine going to chloride, okay, IDE ending. The rest, the 8s and the ites, are the way that goes is that if you can make, let's say you use oxygen, all these will have oxygen in them. If you can combine, a nonmetal can combine with oxygen in different ways, okay, so like an O3 or an O2 or an O1 or an O4, you can have different ways, then you have to have more than one name. Usually it's going to be 8. So if you can make one configuration with oxygen, you use that first element like chlorine and call chlor, and then your ending is 8. So if there is one configuration with oxygen, it's called 8. If you can make 2 configurations with oxygen, then the bigger numbers of oxygen is 8, the lower number of oxygen is ite. Okay, and that's the way almost all of them work. The only exceptions to this rule I know are in group 7. Chlorine, bromine, and iodine all make 4 combinations with oxygen. So in this case, chlorine would make a ClO4 and a ClO3 and a ClO2 and a ClO1. All of them are -1. Okay, each one is -1. So now this is just from experiment. Somebody would have to tell me this. I couldn't guess. The most common will be called 8. So this 3 is called chlor8. All right, so now we know one less oxygen will be chlorite, so this will be chlorite. All right, and most of the cases of all the nonmetals working with oxygen, that's all that you're going to have. You're going to have a higher amount of oxygen and a lower amount of oxygen, 8 and ite. In the case of these group 7 ones, chlorine, bromine, and iodine, where there's 4 forms, you're going to have actually a higher number of oxygen than the normal, than the most common. So I need to a augmenting prefix, and this is called per plus your base plus 8. Okay, so anything higher is going to still be 8, but I need a prefix, perchlorate. Anything lower than ite has to have a prefix, and it's going to be hypo. Hypo, now chlor, now ite. Okay, so you start with 8. You'd have to be told this. It's going to work the same. The O3 in bromate, iodate, and chlorate are all the 8s. Those are the 3s. Less than that's 2 is ite. Less than ite is hypochlorite, hypobromite, hypoiodite. And then higher than 8 would be perchlorate, perbromate, periodate. Right? So this one is B. That's your easy one. A is going to be chlorite. So this is your A. Then C is chlorate. This is your C. D is perchlorate. That is your higher than 8. And E would be your lower than 8. All right, so what started off to be real tricky because all the chlor is simply just learning numbers of oxygens combining with these nonmetals to make an ion, and that's how you go about it. Okay, great.